that's what I would do. That's what I try and teach my children. If I go somewhere and I have a bad experience, I'm not shy about letting them know that it didn't work for me. So I don't begrudge you for if that's your opinion, that's your opinion. But in general, based on the fact that we sold out Avatar for 2 or 3 months, and you couldn't get a ticket for a long, long time, and we just had people saying, can you build more theaters? I think most people are having a good time. It doesn't mean it's perfect. It's not. Nothing's perfect. But we work really, really hard to deliver a good experience.
We have time for a few more questions.
I was wondering if IMAX has any plans to enter the home entertainment market,
We do.
and maybe if you could talk about that.
Well, it's we're probably going to be first to be second. We're not going to be out there in the very beginning because it's changing. As Dean Bassett said, it is an evolving business like never before. Technology makes things change minute by minute. And we have bruises about when we tried to go into something first. When there was no such thing as digital technology, digital projection, and I wasn't at the company, but we thought we would be the first one to go, and our company almost went under because of it in '99 and 2000. So there's definitely going to be IMAX in the home, and there's definitely going to be IMAX 3D home entertainment. But right now, we're watching and waiting to see who kind of takes the lead. There are 3 or 4 pretty big companies that are spending a lot more money than we have to try and come up with the best home entertainment solution, and they still haven't been able to come up with something that works where, if you sit on a very specific mark and you're 4.5 feet away, it's perfect. But if you go, if you have 2 chairs, only 1 chair works. So if you have 15, your 14 are screwed. So that's not something that we want to jump into until we're there. And when the technology catches up, and it will, then we'll be there.
Can you tell us more about how it works in terms of using the IMAX cameras and how you used to have to do things versus how you utilize digital now? For example, with Chris Nolan actually using the IMAX cameras, as opposed to a film where maybe that wasn't the case, I don't know, Clash of the Titans or whatever it was, where they weren't using IMAX cameras. However, it will play on an IMAX screen.
Well, Clash of the Titans won't.
What's the difference? Well, whatever, maybe. What is
That'll
the
be on his real theaters.
What's the difference in terms of the presentation on an IMAX screen with a modern day film that maybe wasn't shot with IMAX cameras?
A film that's shot with IMAX cameras is almost like think of it as a whole separate production unit. Think of it as a second unit group. It's a scaled down version of the first unit, but it's people who are IMAX specifically technical. And the current IMAX camera, and we've announced that we have a digital 3D HD camera that's in development, but the existing IMAX 1570 camera, which is film based, you can't sync up picture and sound. It's the size of a Volkswagen. It's not easy to use at all, and we've only put it in the hands of a handful of pretty exceptional filmmakers. Part of that is because the studios would only allow those pretty exceptional filmmakers. They wouldn't want to pay for anyone doing it, but if Steven Spielberg asks for it, they'll give it to him. If Michael Bay asks for it, they'll give it to him. If Chris Nolan asks for it, they'll give it to him. So we've been selective, and part of it has been because it's more expensive and it takes more time. But it does deliver a particularly crisp and incredible experience. I think most people would say that The Dark Knight was a pretty great experience. I think it was, and a good chunk of that was filmed with our camera. Avatar, while it wasn't technically filmed with any camera because of the way it was made, it had special attention and detail for the IMAX version that was specifically every inch at Jim Cameron's direction. So it just has the sound also is something that's so critical to what we do. Most people, when they go into an IMAX theater, they think that they're going for the image, the picture, but in fact sound is equally as important to them, and we know that because we've done those dial tests where we ask people when they're watching something, what's working for them. And whenever the sound gets really pronounced and you can feel it in your chest, they like it. So it's a handful of things that go into making the IMAX separate unit production a really specialized thing. And again, in 2011, there's going to be a lot more.
We have time for one more question.
In the old days, we would take film and we would scan it. I saw your Spirit. We have a 6K North light, and we would scan it, but that really nothing is delivered any longer on film. It's kind of funny. It's the world is completely going, whether people like it or not, and I'm kind of mixed about it, especially as someone from a movie family, from a film family, but it's definitely going digital. So now we get a DI, and we put it through our algorithm, which is the DMR process. And what we do is we up-res it. Usually when you up-res something, even if it's digital, certain noise artifacts are present because of it. And what our DMR process does is it takes everything back to normal. It takes everything to natural. What we also do is we can sort of Photoshop things. If there's anything, we're the world's largest magnifying glass on screen. So if there's some detail that maybe people weren't supposed to see and wouldn't see in a normal delivery in IMAX, because we're so big and so detailed, they will see it. So sometimes we have to clean certain things up. And then we take it back and we film record it out into either 1570 IMAX, like the Irvine Spectrum, or into our digital version. And then we'll also take the stems from the audio and rebalance them for our proprietary system, which outputs it, depending on the system, anywhere between 12,000 and 15,000 watts of digital surround sound. And it creates a pretty immersive and impactful experience. My pleasure.
Make your way outside for coffee and refreshments.